There's a new app in China that wants to use social stigmas to shame people in debt into paying what they owe. According to Business Insider, there's now an app available in Hebei, a northern China province, that allows the user to view a map of their surrounding radius that points out all the, quote, deadbeat debtors within 500 meters. Accessible via WeChat, China's most popular online messaging platform, the app will reveal the debtor's full name and location and asks users to keep an eye on the debtor. Of SCS have led, according to China's National Development and Reform Commission, to over 7 million people being deemed as untrustworthy. Citizens are receiving personal scores, and the debt detection is just one of the ways that they could find themselves downgraded, resulting in punishments like bans from staying in 5-star hotels, taking a vacation, or even sending their kids to private school.
Name and shame. That's how Chinese courts pressure those in debt to pay up. Large billboards at this busy railway station in Shanghai broadcast personal information and sometimes photos of people who haven't repaid their loans. The use of this tactic is on the rise. As China's growth slows, more are finding it harder to return what they've borrowed. While some residents worry about the privacy of the debtors, most say they approve of this method.
I think this is pretty good because I think you were dishonest with others first, and so you should be exposed for your dishonesty. I think this is pretty good. This can make people do things in a more honest manner. I think, in my understanding, a person's honesty is the most important thing.
Lawyers say the courts are operating within Chinese law, and it serves as a warning to society.
It looks like a naval radar scanning for enemy ships. The deadbeat map is an add-on to the Chinese social media platform WeChat. It allows users to pinpoint the location of those who have failed to pay their debts within a 500-meter radius. For more on this, let's now turn to our in-house expert, Dan and Jay Kattulkar. Glad to have you on set, Dan. This naming and shaming app essentially is China's latest tool to monitor the behavior of its citizens and to pretty much distinguish between those who are trustworthy and those who are disobedient. It's pretty terrifying. Tell us more about this app.
Well, as you mentioned, this is part of China's social credit system, which is reportedly going to be mandatory by 2020. So this is a measure by the local province Hebei to, as we also mentioned, to know if there are people within 500 meters radius who are in debt. And the objective of the system is essentially to monitor these debtors and also to alert authorities, so users can alert authorities if these debtors or some of these debtors seem capable of paying their debts. And this again points to this social credit system, which is all about judging the trustworthiness of the people. So for example, your credits, you can have more credits or less credits depending on your ability to, say, repay the loans, or even simple things like behavior on a bus. So this is taken into account, and there have been instances where people have been denied, for example, the ability to buy high-speed train tickets or even to book flights. So as you can see, there is a monitoring of how people behave, and accordingly, people will either be denied some benefits. And this is essentially the social credit system.
I mean, we're pointing to China, but here too, there's a sort of Black Mirror effect. We all have a financial credit score, and more we're asked to grade, you know, our Uber drivers, but also our Airbnb hosts. So it is something essentially that's coming into our society slowly but surely. Yeah,
I mean, let's take the example of a classroom. There's this popular classroom app called Class Dojo. It essentially is an app that monitors the behavior of students, and it also enables a direct communication line between teachers and parents. Now, what it does is that it allows teachers to give the so-called dojo points. So students with abilities such as hard work and perseverance get points, and those who lack certain skills or are not attentive enough, their points get deducted. Now, critics have mentioned that this system, first of all, makes the classroom atmosphere overly competitive,
right.
and secondly, it also labels, certain students in situations, and those students who are sensitive may get affected by it. So yeah, these are the concerns raised by critics.
Right, and understandably so, this could definitely affect their self-esteem. Thank you so much
This
for that,
episode
Dan.
of Black Mirror scared us all to death by taking social media too far.
I see there's one standby seat on another plane leaving tonight. That's reserved for members of our Prime Flight program. You gotta be a 4.2 or over to qualify.
Oh, I'm a 4.2.
People are scored out of 5 by everyone they interact with, and their public rating determines where they can live, who they can date, and how they travel.
No!
But you invited me.
You've seen the guest list. They are all like 4.5 or above. They are going to freak out of 2.6.
But this is just fantasy, right? Not in China. The government is building a social credit system to rate the trustworthiness of 1.4 billion people. There are plans to roll out the system by 2020, but it's already happening in Suzhou City. So, how does it work? Every citizen starts with 100 points linked to their ID card or social media. If you do something good, like volunteer to charity, recycle trash, donate blood, or send positive energy messages on social media about the country, your score goes up. If you do something bad, like jaywalk, cancel reservation, leave a dishonest review, or you are even friends with someone with a low rating on social media, your score drops.
In order to restore calm, I'm invoking my authority as airport security to dock you 1 full ranking point as a punitive measure. This is a temporary measure.
High-scoring citizens may get free gym memberships, cheaper public transport, and shorter wait times in hospitals. Low-scoring citizens may have travel restrictions, slower internet speeds, and restricted access to restaurants. Is this Black Mirror nightmare becoming a reality in China?